All right, Sage Wanderer coming at you from my van down by the river. So I wanted to do an update on my MK Ultra Trainer video. The video titled I Met an MK Ultra Trainer, the Endgame long version. So to the, I think 6,000 people that maybe saw this video, when I made this video, I was just telling you the true story of the person that I met at my church in Texas. And this would have been, honestly, I cannot remember whether it was 2005 or 2006. And I will probably do maybe one more video on this as I research the exact timeline, because I can pinpoint it by finding traces of the conference where she told me her story after leaving our church. And one of my viewers kind of cryptically sent in a message with a name attached to the I didn't make a lot of the message, but the name jumped right out at me, because when this woman told me her story, she said that she was writing a book that she was going to release, and that she was working on the internet, which was really kind of videos on YouTube were kind of new back then, and I was kind of aware of it, and I was making a lot of comedy videos for my youth group, and people were saying I should post them up. But I mean, back then these videos were multiple gig videos, and there was no way to transfer them. That's why I don't have any of the cool comedy videos I made back then. But she told me that she had a web page, and she was starting to release her story, and that she wasn't really telling the story so much about the Illuminati cult as she was really trying to help people and minister to people who were victims of SRA, satanic ritualistic abuse, which was a part of her childhood, and she engaged in it on both sides. And I did not, I did go and look at her page, and I heard her talk a little bit, but ultimately I was busy and had other things to do, and I found her story interesting, but I didn't really feel like I could, that I really wanted to get involved with it or with her, and I was forbidden, honestly, by the bishop to have any more contact with her. And so I didn't look into it anymore, and I had this story in the back of my mind that it was always kind of there, and I never really thought about it until I was looking for some interesting stories to talk about when the MK Ultra thing came up about Las Vegas. And so I shared my MK Ultra trainer video, and one of the viewers commented with a name, which I will now reveal, because I wasn't talking about her because I was protecting her identity, and I had forgotten her fake pen name that she was using until one of my viewers put it in a comment, and it jumped out at me, and I went online, typed in the name, and there was confirmation. It was her picture of her face that I absolutely knew was her. I told my son-in-law, who's one of my key researchers in all of this, he went and found this for me, because he said, "Would you remember her face?" And I said, "Oh yeah, it's etched in my brain. I'll never forget her face." And I won't release her real name. And the reason I never spoke about this was not really fear of the Illuminati. I was protecting her because she claimed that her ex-husband, who was I believe a Michigan police officer, was trying to kill her. And I was trying to protect her. She'd already had her kids taken away, that they had framed her up, tried to make her look insane. But apparently, and I'm going to reveal this name now, her pen name is S-V-A-L-I, Svali. And she was interviewed. And according to Wikipedia, and looking into this research now, she disappeared not long after we talked. That within a year or two time of when I knew her, she disappeared, either to protect herself, she went into hiding and stopped producing, or maybe her ex-husband finally got to her. But she was very much concerned that her ex-husband was going to murder her. And if you're a researcher into this enigmatic character, and you would like to maybe hear more details from my story, I know what town she was living in at the time, and somebody on Wikipedia claims to have been a personal friend of hers, and maybe he knows more than I do. I guess if she's gone, or if she's passed away, or been killed, or just disappeared, that I feel safer in talking about it, because it seems like old news. I mean, this is a 10-year-old story. But I did know Svali. I knew her well, and she did attend my church. And although I intentionally lost contact with her, I had no idea she disappeared. So I suspect that her husband or someone in the Illuminati got to her. So once again, just confirming for you that I've researched and found that this person, one thing I can say is the book she wrote has become a staple in helping people who are victims of SRA, satanic ritualistic abuse or sexual ritualistic abuse, to cope and to deal with all of the emotional issues involved with that. So in that short time of her ministry, she did a good thing. And I'm sorry to hear that maybe he got to her. She was a nice lady. Yeah. Anyway, just more breadcrumbs and more details of my very interesting and odd life that I did know, in fact, know this woman known as Svali. S-V-A-L-I. So if this kind of thing interests you, you may find this interesting. At any rate, God save the Republic, and I just want to encourage you all to pray. Pray for people who are fighting this evil in the world, because they are all in danger, and they could all be killed at a moment's notice. And so, at any rate, yeah, God save the Republic.